G'day bike riders! Regional Rail Victoria has just invested a stack of money in the railway line and stations from South Geelong to Warren Ponds. So let's take a look at the new South Geelong railway station from a bike rider's perspective. I'm the Bike Route Buddy, bringing you bicycle infrastructure reviews from Geelong and further afield. South Geelong Railway Station is located about 2 kilometres from the main Geelong Railway Station. We did a whole video on getting to the Geelong Railway Station by bike. Check out that one on this channel. Geelong is a city of about 200,000 people, located about 80 kilometres to the west of Melbourne. Many people make the daily 1-hour commute to Melbourne from one of the 7 stations in Geelong and surrounding suburbs, of which South Geelong is one of. South Geelong Station is primarily used as a commuter station for people working in Melbourne, but is also somewhat of a destination station as Cardinia Park, home of the Geelong Cats AFL team, is located only 500 metres away from this station. Through the first 8 months of 2024, there has been major constructions to duplicate sections of the railway line from South Geelong to Warren Ponds. Between South Geelong and Geelong is still a single track as it goes through a tunnel, and the bridge over the Barwon River is still only a single track as well. The rest has been duplicated, which will allow more trains to run. There has also been a new shared path built along the railway line easement in some sections, which hadn't opened at the time of making this video, so I'll review that at a later date in a future video. Part of the upgrade was knocking down the old South Geelong railway station. The old station was built in 1983 when it replaced the original timber station and operated up until 2024 when construction of this new station started. The new station is allowed for an additional platform and meets modern standards and improves the customer experience. So let's have a look at the bicycle infrastructure. I'm going to review it from a bike rider's perspective on what has been built and how well it works. It will be a user experience rather than looking at it from a technical point of view or if things meet certain standards or not. The original station had a parketeer bike shed. I'm not sure how many bikes it catered for, but it seemed to be a reasonable size. It was a pretty convenient location, close to the platform, and a pretty easy ride through the car park to get to it. There was also some bike hoops on the western end off Yarra Street, but it seems there weren't enough, judging by these bikes locked up to signpost and rails. The new station looks pretty modern and fancy, so I'm holding high hopes for what has been installed. We'll start off at the northern side of the platform. Look at this great shared path that heads away to the east, nice and wide and a good surface. I'll look at this new path in a future video when it's fully open, but it seems that access from the east has been significantly improved. One thing I noticed is how it is set back from the parking bays to prevent people from driving right up to the curb and having tow bars and bull bars protruding onto the shared path, unlike this poor example where half the path is blocked. Prior to the upgrade, it was a bit of a maze trying to get to the station from that end. In terms of the bike parking on the north side, there is plenty of undercover hoops. They are not in a secure area, but right next door is a secure parketeer with plenty of parking that requires a security card to gain access. There are no security cameras in the bike parking area, but there are some not too far away pointing to the bike parking access points. They might be a bit far away to be able to identify a bike thief though. This was the first day that trains were running through the section of the line after the upgrade, so there are no bikes parked here. It may take a bit of time for people to familiarise themselves with the new facilities and for numbers of train commuters to get back up to normal levels. I expect to see bikes in these racks in the future. On the topic of security cameras, there are loads of them around the station, on the platforms, in the walkways and in the car parks, but some additional ones located in or close to the bike parking might have helped to deter would-be bike thieves. Further along the north side of the station close to Yarra Street, there are a heap of new bike hoops. I couldn't see any security cameras pointing to them, and I assume these will be the last ones to fill up after the parketeer and the undercover hoops we looked at earlier. It still gives a strong message that Regional Rail Victoria want people to come to the station by bike. On day one, there were not many bikes parked here either, but there is a very big population within easy riding distance to the station, so they should start to get some more use in the future. As we head out onto Yarra Street from Car Street, there is a cut through the centre island for bikes. A crossing here would have been heaps better than just a cut through, but at least there is something to help getting across the road. There's also this right turning lane for anyone on a bike heading north along Yarra Street and wants to turn onto the shared path. This also acts as a modal filter with people driving not permitted to turn right. Yarra Street has painted bike lanes in both directions with much of it buffered. Unfortunately, the Yarra Street bike lanes just disappear as you get close to the city centre, leaving you stranded in the last couple of blocks. You can also connect up to the southern bike link by crossing the railway line, and there are right turn lanes for bike riders to follow. There is also a crossing off the road with a straight run with gates that close when the train comes. A much better design than the old zigzag crossings of the past. that you couldn't get a bike around. I don't think you're meant to ride across here though, but it is another piece of good off-road space you could use if you dismount. Or you could ride through if you're under 13 or accompanying someone under 13. Once across the railway line, the path connects pretty well to the Lonsdale Street protected bike lane that links up to the Southern Bike Link on Moorabool Street beside Cardinia Park. At that point you can head north into the Central Business District or south to the Barwon River Trails. The station is connected at both the eastern and western end to new and existing shared paths, which is a massive improvement, and we know the value of a connected network. Now don't forget to give this video a like and click on the subscribe button. This really helps us out at Bike Geelong with gaining influence with the authorities. You can also head over to Facebook and follow Bike Geelong and get more updates on bicycle infrastructure in and around Geelong. Now that we're on the southern side of the tracks, let's have a look at the infrastructure adjacent to the southern platform. Immediately off Yarra Street, there are a few bike racks still located here and may have been the original ones from the old station. These ones are the most popular on the first day, so I wonder if it was because people knew that they were here when the old station was still standing. There is a good ramp from one side of the station to the other, which makes it easier to get your bike across the lines without having to go all the way up to Yarra Street at the west or Swanston Street at the east. I can't see any signs saying no bikes, but presumably you would not be able to ride across here and you will need to walk your bike to connect to the shared path on the northern side. There are 10 hoops right at the platform next to the public phone, so more options for parking. These are quite prominent and again give the message that it is a bike friendly place. When I first came here on the opening day, I couldn't find the parketeer on the south side of the station, and I asked one of the welcoming staff who didn't know either, but after hunting around I found it just on the other side of the public telephone. The sign is a bit small, but I guess once you've found it, you know where it is. There are secure parketeers on both sides of the tracks, which is great. The only thing I'm not sure about is if the security cameras cover this bike parking spaces well enough. The location of the parketeers are great, much better than the Geelong railway station, where there is only one and it is located right down at the end of the platform, the furthest away point from the station entrance. I continued exploring further along the huge car park to the east and found some more bike hoops, unfortunately inconveniently located right up at the end at Swanston Street. These are about as far away from the station as you can get. The close security cameras, it seems, are aimed at the car park and not even catching the bike parking in the periphery. There's one a little further away that is aimed at the bike parking, but I don't think I would be parking my bike in these racks, located so far away from the station and an easy target for thieves wanting a new bike, especially when there are other parking locations much closer to the platforms that are more visible. Without trying to be too critical, the money spent on these bike hoops may have been better spent on other bike infrastructure somewhere else, but I hope I'm proved wrong. The huge car park has been upgraded. I don't think the capacity has really changed, but this land next to the station would have been some of the most valuable in the area due to the proximity to the station, and it is used as free car parking. Housing or retail may have been a better land use than car parking this close to the station. This would increase the number of people that live within easy walking or riding distance from the station. There are some high density apartments close to the station on the south side of the tracks, which seems like good land use though. There is also a huge car park on the northern side. It wasn't open at the time of filming, but it is also a great big expanse of land that could potentially benefit the community with a better land use. Heading out from the eastern end of the southern side of the tracks, you can get back onto the shared path that we saw earlier, and there is also a nice right turning lane for bikes, which also acts as a modal filter. This is pretty good, but a dedicated crossing would have been much better. Even on main bike routes, when the main bike routes cross relatively small roads, no priority is given. We did a whole video on road crossings on the Ballerine Rail Trail, which this new shared path connects to. I was pleasantly surprised with how well bike riders have been catered for, and overall I would say a great job to Regional Rail Victoria on this upgrade. People arriving by bike at South Geelong Station have definitely been catered for. It is overwhelmingly positive, but I think the bike racks at the Swanston Street end of the car park could have been thought out a bit better, and some prioritised crossings for the shared paths over Yarra Street and Swanston Street would have topped it off. There could have also been some slightly better security camera placement to help deter would-be bike thieves. It looks like it has been built to really encourage people to choose a bike or e-bike as a form of transportation, and also supports the bike-train combo, which is very popular in Europe, especially in the Netherlands. The state government looks like it's actively building infrastructure to cater for this form of transport and providing good options for commuters. There is plenty more our local government can do to connect up this new infrastructure with the surrounding areas, which will provide more accessible transport options for all. Unfortunately, some of the City of Greater Geelong councillors don't share the same view and have voted against bicycle infrastructure development and even have proposed ripping out existing bicycle infrastructure. The Green Spine project was also taken away from the City of Greater Geelong and handed to the state government because they were unable to deliver the project. These connections and facilities make it so I and many others can easily ride a bike to the South Geelong train station instead of driving. It really feels good to report positive on bicycle infrastructure and to see some great activity and investment. Thanks for watching, and if you like the new South Geelong Railway Station, give this video a like and click on the subscribe button. I'm the Bike Route Buddy, and I'll see you riding to the South Geelong train station to use the new bike facilities.